holding tight, can you see it? Streaming the truth live from where they decree it. Sylvia speaks, no filter, no buffer. Courtroom drama couldn't get any tougher.
When the gavel's first bang, to the witness stands tears. Sylvia's lens captures all your hopes and fears. Uploading justice one trial at a time. Tuning every moment, edges sublime.
Welcome to the Sylvia Show, oh yeah. She's got the inside scoop, don't you care? With every verdict, the suspense does grow. So hit subscribe, let's start the show. Welcome to the Sylvia Show, oh yeah. She's got the inside scoop, don't you care? With every verdict, the suspense does grow. So hit subscribe, let's start the show. Faces tell stories, the courtroom can't hide. Sylvia's insights cut through the divide. From jury talks to the lawyer's secret. In Sylvia's world, you know you'll need it. Behind the scenes where whispers are loud, her lens reveals the truth in the crowd. Courtroom secrets laid bare to see. Stay curious with Sylvia Spree. Every objection, every sharp retort, Sylvia's there to give you the report. Exclusive footage no one else can snag. From catchy headlines straight to the tag. Welcome to the Sylvia Show, oh yeah. She's got the inside scoop, don't you care? With every verdict, the suspense does grow. So hit subscribe, let's start the show. Welcome to the Sylvia Show, oh yeah. She's got the inside scoop, don't you care? With every verdict, the suspense does grow. So hit subscribe, let's start the show.
Faces tell.
Okay, here's this case, y'all. Hold on.
Clay.
That's just how the car came. I bought it that way, straight from Ford. So it's free.
In Michigan?
Yes.
This is the officer here. You can't see the guy that's that the officers basically he racial profile.
Sims, since I don't think I specifically asked you about the tint either because I had misplaced this on my desk. Do you wish to address the window tint?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sure you're aware that no vehicle that comes from the factory has front window tint on it. During his first testimony, he admitted to having window tint and said that we saw him through the windshield, which is not possible at night, but he admitted that there was tint.
When did he admit that? I didn't see that.
May I add something?
You may.
There's they didn't test any window tint for any type of
Violation.
darkness issues or anything like that. It was just kind of an excuse because that wasn't the first reason that he told me that he pulled me over. It wasn't for window tint. And you can disclose that through the video of his own body cam. They said that they pulled me over because he presumed that I was trying to turn around in the parking lot or evade him, but I was door dashing like I told the officer that pulled me over before.
Yeah, he got pulled over twice in one day, y'all.
So, Deputy Sims, I believe when you testified a moment ago, you said you had noticed the window tint. Did you want to respond to that to me, please?
I guess, what are you asking?
You had stated that you initiated the stop, or at least you started to initiate the stop based on observing window tint. Is that correct?
So, yeah, I mean, I was with my partner. So there's also the part of he came off of Holmes Road, if I remember correctly. turned right into the parking lot and then cut through the parking lot to go back onto Holmes Road. It didn't seem like there was any intention of him trying to stop at the store or anything like that. So he's also cutting through the parking lot.
May I add?
The judge seemed
You
like
may.
the judge seemed like
I did
he
not
was on the
try
police
to cut through
side.
the parking lot, as I mentioned before, and prove to the officer before I was door dashing. And if I would have been on my phone, then he would have tried to get me for that as well. So I safely pulled over to where I could view where I was. And it was his presumption that I was trying to turn around in the parking lot, but my car wasn't parked.
Okay.
Judge,
Thank you. Give me just a moment.
Judge, you cannot rule against him, man. That officer's lying. The guy said the officer was racial profiling him. They had stopped him the first time. Now this is another officer stopped him. The other one let him go, and then this one here stopped him a few minutes later. She's taking her time, y'all. She's trying to find a way to give it to the officer. It's sad that judges have their biases already and not going by the law.
So the court is ready to make a decision in this matter. So in regards to the B ticket, that is the equipment violation, basically having obstructed vision with window tint. At this point, the court is finding you not responsible for the window tint, Mr. Smith, because based on just the testimony today, I don't think there's enough established to confirm whether or not the window tint would have been in violation. Now, regarding the A citation, that being the failure to disclose the CPL, the court is finding you responsible in that matter. And that is, again, based on MCL 28.425F.
Hey, Tank.
Basically, an individual licensed under this act to carry a concealed pistol and who is carrying a concealed pistol and who is stopped by a peace officer shall immediately disclose to the peace officer that he or she is carrying a pistol concealed upon your person or in your vehicle.
May I add, please?
Well, no, because at this point I'm making my ruling.
Oh, wow.
And
She's rude.
the pistol was in the vehicle. I understand it doesn't sound like you were in the vehicle at this point, but you were engaged with the officer.
Wow.
And it was your responsibility as the person with the CPL to immediately disclose that you had a CPL and that there was a weapon in the vehicle.
But he didn't
So
see it.
you are being found responsible. Again, this is a civil infraction for a first offense. There's a fine here of $500, and your license to carry concealed is being suspended for 6 months.
Whoa!
Now, what I am going to say is that you do have the right to appeal my decision as the magistrate. If you do so within the next 7 days, the case will be reheard by the judge.
I would.
So,
How do I appeal?
You would have to either consult with an attorney or you can talk to the clerks about getting the paperwork. I cannot give you legal advice.
That's not legal advice. He just asked.
Because I wasn't, as he stated before. Sorry, I wasn't actually engaged in a traffic stop. That was the problem. I got
At this point, the court has made its ruling. This hearing is concluded. I believe that concludes the docket this morning. I have given you an idea of what you can do next, what your
Wow.
options are. You can file an appeal.
She's rude. I wouldn't go before her. All right, that was that court, y'all. They're done with her. All right, let's go find another court. Lord, I do not like that lady. They stopped the court already. All right, let's go find another court. Okay, let's go find another court. Hold on, y'all. We got to find another court. That was so rude. That was so rude. All right, here we go. We're going to go to Wisconsin. We're going to Wisconsin. That area was like in the South, but we're going to go to Wisconsin.
Released from the subpoena?
Yes, please.
Any objections?
No.
All right, so thank you, doctor. You have a good day.
Thank you.
I think at this time it's appropriate to take a recess. Let's take a.
Oh, man, there's recess on this one. Dang on. Okay, recess. Y'all, we're going around the world. It's not just Fulton County, y'all. If y'all stuck on Fulton County, you probably need to go someplace else because we're going around the world. We're going around the world. We're so stuck on Fulton County. Everything else doesn't have to be Fulton County. We're going around the world. We're going around the world. All right, let's go to another part of the world. All right. Okay, since you want Fulton County, I'll give it to you. Okay, hold on. Here's Fulton County. Hold on. I mean, not full, this. Y'all want it? Okay. Since y'all getting a pain in the butt. All right, hold on. But remember, we're going around the world. But we're going to go to Fulton, state of Georgia, Fulton County. Okay, here we go. They're not even ready. They're not even ready. You see how they sitting? The guy sitting in medical. Somebody's in Alpharetta, Georgia, and Gloria's over there by herself. They're not even ready. Look at that. They're not even ready. All right, let's go find somebody else. Hold on. All right, let's go to McBurney. Let's go to McBurney. Let's go Fulton County, McBurney. All right, let's go McBurney's.
Numbers?
Okay, John. It's the first one is 22 SC 182467.
Okay,
And the second one is 23 SC 187964.
okay, thank you. Mr. Wright, we're gonna talk about it, don't panic, but it's good to know that that's out there. All right, thank you for flagging that. Okay, back to you, Ms. Dilligard.
Do you understand that if you are currently on probation or parole, your probation and parole may be revoked based on your entering of a guilty plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that if you're placed on probation of any kind, you cannot violate any criminal laws of any governmental unit?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand if you're on probation, you must follow all the special,
Okay, y'all. We are all over the world now. We're in Fulton County right now. What's going on with the guy at the
Can I get responses from the other two defendants, please?
Yeah, we had a pause. Mr. Wright was asking his lawyer a question, so let's rewind, and if you'll ask
Right at
that
the
same
bottom.
question again.
Do you understand that if you're placed on probation of any kind, you cannot violate any criminal laws of any governmental unit?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Make sure you guys speak in.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're on probation, you must follow all the special conditions of your probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What's up with the?
Do you understand that if you fail to follow any of the special conditions of your probation, then you'll be subject to revocation of that probation for the balance of your sentence?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you are not allowed to possess or use a firearm while on probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a United States citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
US citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Look at him, y'all. Look at him. Why he's not standing up?
Do you understand that by entering a plea of guilty today, you're waiving any and all defenses, including any mental health defenses?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up the following rights: the right to a trial by jury, the right to remain silent, the right to confront witnesses against you, the right to the assistance of counsel, the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to appeal if convicted of these charges at a trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Lady?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know that's a lady.
Yes, ma'am. My bad. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Is it your decision to waive these rights, which means not to use them, and enter a guilty plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, my bad.
Has anyone forced, threatened, or promised you anything to get you to enter a guilty plea?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Is it your decision to enter a guilty plea because you're in fact guilty?
You want to talk with Ms. Cabrera for a second?
Yes to the conduct, but not to the,
No, just a second.
oh, yes, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Oh, I didn't know.
Ms. Johnson?
Y'all for correcting me. I thought it was
Same
a
way.
Thank you for correcting me. I thought it was a lady, a man.
To my reduced charges, ma'am.
Yeah, that is a woman. You're
Okay,
right.
Mr. Wright.
And I would like to speak probation as well before,
You'd like to pardon me?
I like to speak probation before, the plea concludes.
You'd like to speak with probation?
Probation, yes, because I wasn't aware of the, two BOP warrants in this jurisdiction, so.
Okay, well, it doesn't sound like they're signed yet, so I don't know that there's anything technically holding him, but I'm gonna look up those cases.
Okay, so upon conclusion of this plea.
Yeah.
More than likely.
We'll talk about it. Okay, but the question is now on the table, Mr. Wright, are you pleading guilty to these charges?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Ross, how do you plead to the charges of aggravated assault? Oh, or no, you're pleading guilty to disorderly conduct and reckless conduct.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead in regards to that manner in indictment number 24 SC 004077?
Guilty.
Speak up.
Guilty.
And Ms. Johnson, how do you plead to the charges of disorderly conduct and reckless conduct in indictment number 24 SC 004077?
Guilty.
And Mr. Wright, how do you plead to the charges of aggravated assault and reckless conduct in indictment number 24 SC 004077?
Guilty.
Is this guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with full knowledge of the charges against you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that you only have a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction? Yes.
Yes.
Hold on, let's do two things. One, got to make sure we go in order, but I want the record to reflect, since Ms. Rivers couldn't see this happen, that Mr. Francis has returned, so that while Ms. Cabrera has been acting with Ms. Johnson's permission and Mr. Francis's knowledge as Ms. Johnson's counsel, Her actual appointed counsel is back in court and will resume those responsibilities. So the question was, do you understand, three defendants, that you have only a limited right to appeal your conviction if you enter a guilty plea? Mr. Ross?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Wright?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Do you understand that if you wish to challenge the voluntariness of your guilty plea, you must do so by filing a habeas corpus petition, Mr. Ross?
Yes, ma'am.
Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes, sir. I mean, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Didn't mean to switch up on you. It'll be ma'am from here on out.
Do you understand that a felony charge, you only have 4 years from today to file a habeas corpus petition, Mr. Ross?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
In their case, it's
Oh.
going to be a year because it's a misdemeanor.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I just state that again. Do you understand that for the misdemeanor charges, you only have 12 months from today to file a habeas corpus?
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, if this case were to proceed to trial, the state would be proving that on June 14th, 2024, APD was dispatched to 25 Peachtree Street Southeast in reference to a person stabbed. Officers were met by the victim, which is Mr. Reginald Walls. He was stabbed by the defendant, Mr. Wright. Johnson stated to officers that Walls had stolen her Bluetooth speaker 2 days ago and that she was attempting to retrieve her property along with Mr. Ross and Mr. Wright. They approached the victim. They took a knife from him. Wright then lunges at the victim and strikes him with that knife. As Walls is being stabbed, he continues to hold on to his backpack during the attack and refuses to release it. He falls to the ground. He's struck in his arm, his hand, and while he's on the ground, the defendants appear to throw a water jug at him. Officers were able to locate surveillance, but we were not able to retrieve that from APD, unfortunately. The reason for the reduction in regards to Mr. Ross and Ms. Johnson is because they did not have the knife. They did not stab the victim, unlike defendant Mr. Wright. And all of this did occur in Fulton County, Georgia.
Okay. Any success in tracking down Mr. Walls?
We've tried multiple, let me make sure this is the right one. Actually, we did try to contact the victim, but my investigator was actually made aware yesterday that the victim is actually deceased, and so we've requested a death certificate, and we're pending that at this moment.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Let me hear from Ms. Jackson. Any criminal history information on Mr. Ross?
Mr. Ross have 2 cycles. The last arrest was September the 11th, 2024 with the city of Atlanta for 2 counts of theft by receiving stolen property. There was no disposition for that arrest. There are no convictions.
Thank you. And for Ms. Johnson?
She has 4 cycles. The last arrest was July the 2nd, 2018 out of South Carolina for drinking alcohol in a public place. There was a non-conviction for her. That date was August the 1st, 2018.
And finally, Mr. Wright.
Mr. Wright has 78 cycles. The last arrest was March the 21st, 2023 in Fulton County for unlawful to knowingly remove / destroy. There's no destroy, circumvent operation. So felony, there was no disposition for it. And also he has a charge of a failure to appear. The underlying charge was not listed. He does appear to be on probation for felony obstruction. That case number is 23 SC 187964. That disposition date was August the 23rd, 2023, and the term is for 4 years. He does have prior felony convictions. one in 2011 out of Gwinnett County for forgery in the first degree, one in 2009 out of Gwinnett County for forgery in the first degree, one in 2003 for aggravated assault and robbery, one in 2001 for possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute, one in 1997 out of DeKalb County for forgery in the first degree. And he does have prior misdemeanor convictions. One in 2022 out of DeKalb County for theft by taking and obstruction of an officer. One in 2019 out of Shamley, Georgia for theft by shoplifting. He received a nolo contendere sentence in 2019 for theft by shoplifting. And there was a conviction in 2019 out of Dunwoody, Georgia for theft by shoplifting. There's one in 2014 out of Harris County, Georgia for simple battery. There's one in 2000 for battery, family violence. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, let's start with Mr. Ross. Ms. Cabrera, I have found that he has another open case. So what we're doing today is resolving this one. I think he has a bond on the other case. It was
He
with,
does, he just hasn't, his mother hasn't paid it yet.
right, because he's stuck on this,
Right.
but we'll be back together at some point. I don't know, are you his lawyer on the other
I
case?
haven't. Doesn't mean it won't happen,
Okay.
just hasn't yet.
It is a,
What's the number on it?
I'm gonna pull it up in just a second. It is 24 SC 005867. And someone named Aaron Jenkins is the name listed, but that may have been from Judge Schwall's courtroom. I don't know that person. Did you hire someone in that case, Mr. Ross? No, it's the theft by receiving that we heard about from
So it got transferred from,
Judge Schwall.
okay. She said city of, the arrest was in city of Atlanta, or was it a city of Atlanta case?
We look.
I got the impression it was a city of Atlanta case, because as far as he knows, it's a misdemeanor.
It's APD, and it may have been upgraded because it is burglary of the dwelling house of Ms. Smith, and then theft by receiving a Toyota Sienna and some financial transaction card stuff. But there are two co-defendants. There's a Mr. Martin and a Ms. Bernard. So it's a three-person case again. Anyway, it's with me now. We're not resolving it today. I just didn't want Mr. Ross to be surprised. Like, wait, why am I back in court? If he's got bond, then, or if he can post that bond, that won't be.
He said it was
anything.
something as low as like $1,000?
There was a consent bond entered in October. It is $1,000. It was before it was indicted. So I don't know how that'll play out if he tries to post it, because the indictment has new charges.
Okay, well, I guess as soon as he can be on the calendar before,
We'll work
Your
through it.
Honor, and we'll deal with that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it'll come my way, just hasn't yet.
It's on plea and arraignment in just
What's the date on that?
the 27th of February. So
Okay.
a little more than a few weeks.
Okay.
Um,
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah, and we'll learn who the lawyers are. Okay. Mr. Ross, do you have any questions about anything we talked about, other than your new case? I don't want you to worry about the new case. This case, no questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have a place to stay when you get out?
Yes.
And where is that? I don't need street address, but is it with family or friends?
Family.
Okay. All right. Ms. Johnson, do you have any questions about anything we talked about? All right. Did you used to be in South Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay. What brought you to Georgia?
I used to live in Georgia, then I moved to South Carolina, then I came back.
Now you're back. Okay. Do you have a place to stay when you get out? No. Okay. All right. And Mr. Wright, any questions about what we talked about?
I want to know about the probation.
So I looked up one of the cases, the one that Ms. Jackson mentioned, the 23 SC case. That was a case in front of Judge Dunaway. and you were sentenced to RSAT through Department of Community Supervision. Did you go do RSAT?
They didn't send me to RSAT. They let me go from jail. They let me go from here and told me to go report to probation. And I was reporting to probation before I caught this case. I was going to probation over there up in right there by the driver's license place.
Yeah, on Memorial. It's not far from here.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And
All right.
I was paying my money. So,
Okay.
you know, only way I caught there is this charge here.
Well, and that would be, I think, what the issue is with probation in those other cases. Do you have any information about RSAT happening, not happening?
They didn't come get me.
Okay, you can look that up. Okay.
And they let me go from here.
It's not on you. I mean, the way I understood Judge Dunaway's sentence, you were supposed to stay in custody until you went to RSAT, but something could have changed.
They let me go.
Well, that would be something that changed. Okay, I don't think you escaped. All right.
Yeah, I don't see that he completed it or entered.
Okay, well, if he never entered it, then he couldn't complete it. All right, we'll work through that on another day. For the three of you, I find there's a factual basis for each of your pleas. It sounds like you had different connections to what happened with Mr. Walls. And I find that for each of you, your pleas are knowing and voluntary. Knowing means you've understood what we talked about. And if you didn't, you asked, and you guys asked good questions. Voluntary just means no one's forcing you to enter these pleas. Mr. Ross, is it okay if someone in my office signs your name on the indictment indicating your plea? There's going to be an electronic signature. It'll just say Mr. Ross pled guilty.
Yes, sir.
That's okay. Ms. Johnson, can we sign your name as well?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Wright, okay if we electronically put your name on there? Ms. Cabrera?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Francis?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Vereen?
That is, yes, Your Honor, that's fine.
Okay, and Ms. Dilligard?
Thanks, Judge.
We'll take care of that. Mr. Ross, I'm going to follow the recommendation here, although, a little time out, the math I've done, Mr. Ross only did about,
4 months.
if you add the two cases together, but it's 121 days on the other case that's open. It's 29 days on this one.
He knows he's not going anywhere right this
Okay,
second.
as long as he knows
Yeah, he
that.
knows that, and I gave Ms. Delgard my card so we can try to figure out if it's possible to reach a resolution before the arraignment calendar.
Excellent. Highly likely. Yes, ma'am.
And Your Honor, just to touch back on that RSAT, at the time, the defendant actually had pending charges, and so he wasn't able
To go. Okay. Understood. All right. So then I'll follow the recommendation. I just want to make sure because Ms. Johnson has spent a whole lot more time in custody. And so it's just a slightly different outcome. Same sentence. Mr. Ross, on count one, I am sentencing you to 6 months to serve. That's the disorderly conduct, followed by 12 months probation on count two. That's the reckless conduct for a total sentence of exactly what your lawyer said you'd get. 18 months to serve 6 months with the balance probated. And you will get credit. I don't know that you're going to get credit for all the time you've been in because you've actually been in on 2 different cases. But one of the things Ms. Cabrera is trying to do is work out that other case as well. Then you can push it all together. But for this case, you'll certainly get credit for the month you were in before you bonded out and then got picked up on those other charges. When you do get out, you will be on probation for 12 months. As I said, I will waive the supervision fees for the first 3 months while you get on your feet, hopefully get some work going, and you will need to do 100 hours of community service. Any questions about any of that?
No, sir. I'm willing to follow every rule and commandment.
Okay, I don't issue commandments, but I did issue a sentence. All right, Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
I am going to sentence you to 6 months to serve on count one, which has been reduced to disorderly conduct, followed by 12 months probation on count two, that's the reckless conduct, so 18 months to serve 6. You'll get credit for the 209 days you've been in custody. That's more than 6 months, so you ought to get out tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be a strange day in Atlanta, so if you don't get released, it's not because anyone forgot about you, it's because there's snow on the ground and that kind of shuts stuff down. If you're still in jail next week, you call Mr. Francis, he'll bug me, and we'll figure out what the holdup is, okay? Excellent, good, he'll do that. You will also have 100 hours of community service. You need to plug in with probation. I'm gonna waive your supervision fees for the first 6 months while you figure out a stable place to be, okay? All right, Mr. Wright, count one, I am sentencing you to 8 years to serve 6 months with the balance on probation. Count two is 6 months to serve, that'll run concurrently at the same time. So it's a total of 8 years to serve 6 months, balance probated. And then you'll be on probation. I'm gonna waive your supervision fees for the first 3 months when you do get out. And then you're gonna need to do, I know the request was 150, but I'm gonna have it at 100 hours community service as well, when you are out. I'm gonna hold off on signing your final disposition because we need to sort out this probation piece. We don't need to do that right this moment. I wanna let some other people go. But I need to make sure probation has a chance to do what they need to do in connection with probation. And it may be that we talk about that as a threesome as well, okay? Do you, Mr. Ross, have questions about your situation?
Other than that, well, I'll be doing my 6 months starting today.
You receive credit for time served, so your 6 months has already started. The question is when that's gonna actually resolve, and we're gonna work on trying to resolve your other case. And
But
then-
you get credit from today. You get credit for the 29 days for sure, and your clock is running. So if I don't see you again, I'm making this up, for 3 weeks, you'll have done 3 more weeks on this sentence. And then we'll be figuring out, what are we doing with this case with the burglary and the stolen Sienna? Okay. All right, Ms. Johnson, any questions? Okay. Mr. Wright, other than about your probation, any questions? All right, then what I'm gonna have you do is go back there. All 3 defendants go back there. Ms. Vereen, if you'll just sit tight, we're gonna sort out. We don't need to give reporting instructions to Ross or Johnson. We're gonna hold off on Mr. Wright because we need to work through a little bit of probation, okay? We'll bring you back out here.
Thank you.
All right? Yes?
Can you, I'm sorry, can you repeat Mr. Ross?
I'll give you my mama number.
Okay.
Yeah, just a sec.
389-0171.
They had a whole phone
Missing
number online.
LIN.
Give me their phone number. Can you believe that?
Okay, what I'll do is I'll get an email address from her. Because once we get all of this worked out, you're gonna have to report to misdemeanor probation, so I gotta send you
Okay.
information.
And this is a routine? Good, okay, good luck. I'm glad it wasn't tomorrow, because it's not gonna happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do you need to head out to the doctor now?
Thanks for your accommodation, Judge.
You bet.
Yeah, all their business on here, y'all.
Here all day?
You hear them talking about,
I heard, you take 8 or 9 folks in California.
they tell L.
Such is life.
And I talked to her.
Take care. All right, we can squeeze in one more plea before we have to break for lunch, if there's anything that's ready. I know there are people online and people in here, so I don't know how you want to do that. And then we will do all the others that are here. People can go have lunch. After that, because I have to go to this bench meeting.
I would like to.
All right, y'all. All right, I'm gonna end all right, y'all want to see this one? Hold on. I was gonna do someplace else.
Case is, remind me.
Okay, look who's here. The Officer Story.
Right. You were filling
Look
in
at
for
the
Mr.
Smothers. That's
Smith.
what that is.
And Mr. Phillips is here. Okay. Ms. Nix, are you handling that?
I can, yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Phillips, just come on up and stand with your lawyer so we can all see and hear each other. All right, so you all weren't able to sort something out?
So Judge, where we are right now is the state made an offer. The defendant is interested in drug court. The state's not agreeing to drug court, but if the defendant pleads, then Your Honor can send him to drug court if he is accepted. So I've sent a accountability court application to defense counsel to fill that out. I think what we'll do today is preserve final plea rights until the trial calendar, and the state's reducing, this is a trafficking, the state's going to reduce it to possession with intent.
Okay.
And we might end up doing a non-negotiated plea once we have an idea about where drug court is.
That all makes sense. So Ms. Goldstein, Steen or Stern? Steen. I have bad handwriting. Ms. Goldstein, you will then need to make sure you can extract from the accountability court folks an answer as to whether Mr. Phillips would be accepted. They're pretty quick with the turnaround. So you, pardon me? By the 30th, right? Because we will all be together again on January 30th, at which time maybe we're taking a non-negotiated plea. I'll preserve the final plea rights. So Mr. Phillips can withdraw his plea if he wants to, but then we've got a trial calendar and folks need to be ready to go on that. But it is important to have as part of the plea conversation that nugget of information of yes, drug court is a possibility, or no, they don't view him as someone who is high risk, high needs. He might be someone who is a problem for all the people in drug court. They'll make that assessment. So just do make sure the two of you follow up with the intake team, make yourself available to them so that they can provide that info of yes, if you send him, judge, we'll take him. Okay?
Understood.
All right, so final plea rights are preserved. We don't need to go over any of that other stuff. And we'll see everyone at the latest on the 30th. If you all come up with something and want to do it before the 30th, that's fine. Although it's a weird couple, next week I'm available. I'll be doing civil stuff. The week after is judges conference. So then we get into the week of the 30th anyway. All right?
Understood, Judge.
Mr. Phillips, any questions about that? Okay, we'll see you guys then. Thanks for your patience.
Thank you.
You are Carolyn Frederick, yes?
Yes.
All right, position 11, Ms. Rios, and one more from Ms. Dilligard, or?
Yes. Yes.
You're gonna do this one, all right. Ms. Vereen, I'm not forgetting about you. I don't know that we're gonna be able to do a whole lot before the lunch break, but I just want to touch base.
Okay.
All right, this is position 11, 24 SC 003925, State versus Carolyn Frederick. She's here in court with her lawyer, Ms. Rios, and we have Ms. Dilligard from the state. We've watched a few of these pleas now, so you know the mechanics. You're gonna get sworn in, then you'll need to answer some questions, and you let me know if you've got any questions of your own, okay?
Okay.
All right, Ms. Rios, Ms. Dilligard.
And please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that any statement or testimony that you shall give in the matter currently before this court shall be the truth?
Yes.
Please state your true, correct, and legal name.
Caroline Frederick.
Are you at this time taking or under the influence of any medicine, drugs, or alcohol?
No.
How old are you?
34.
How far have you gone in school?
High school.
Is English your native language?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have been charged with the following offense, one count of aggravated assault?
Yes.
Do you understand that you had the right to plead guilty or not guilty to that charge?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you plead not guilty or remain silent and refuse to enter any plea at all, then the state is required to prove the charges against you at a jury trial?
Yes.
Have you had the opportunity to review the waiver of rights form with your attorney?
Yes.
Have you had enough time to speak with your lawyer about all of the charges or this charge, one charge in this matter, in the indictment, including the facts and circumstances related to the charge?
Yes.
Would you like any more time to discuss this case with your lawyer?
No.
Are you satisfied with your lawyer's services?
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive formal reading of the indictment?
Yes.
Do you waive any and all the effects in the indictment?
Yes.
Ms. Frederick, do you remember being arrested for these charges?
Yes.
Has your attorney advised you of the minimum and maximum sentence for this charge that you're pleading guilty today, the minimum being 1 year and the maximum being 20 years?
Yes.
Do you understand that today you're entering a negotiated plea of guilty, which means that the state will recommend the following sentence to the court: 10 years, stay away from the incident location, no violent contact with Wilfredo Munez, an anger management course within 6 months, 50 hours of community service.
Yes.
Can you say that one more time? I was having to deal with something on the screen.
No problem, Judge. It's 10 years probation.
10P, okay.
Yep, a stay away from the incident location, which is 5405 West Hill Road. No contact with the victim, Wilfredo.
I'm sorry. Someone's microphone is giving feedback.
Yeah, but no one's messing with their microphone. I heard that too. So hopefully it stops. We may be in one of those sticky situations. All right, keep going. So it was no contact with the victim.
Anger management course within 6 months.
Okay.
And 150 hours of community service.
Got it. Thank you.
You understand that?
Yes.
You understand that the court is not required to accept the state's recommended sentence?
Yes.
You understand that the court has the right to sentence you to the maximum possible sentence on this charge, which is 20 years?
Yes.
Do you understand that if the court decides to order a sentence that differs from the negotiated plea you are expecting today, that you have the right to withdraw your plea of guilty?
Yes.
Are you on probation or parole anywhere?
No.
Do you understand that if placed on probation, you cannot violate any criminal laws of any governmental unit?
Yes.
You understand that if when you're on probation, you must follow all the special conditions of your probation?
Yes.
You understand that if you fail to follow all the special conditions of your probation, then you will be subject to revocation of that probation for the balance of your sentence?
Yes.
You understand that you're not allowed to possess or use a firearm while on probation?
Yes.
Are you a United States citizen?
Yes.
You understand that by pleading guilty to this felony, you may not receive, possess, or transport a firearm?
Yes.
Are you asking to be treated as first offender of the provisions of the First Offender Act?
Yes.
Have you ever pleaded guilty to a felony in the state of Georgia?
No.
Have you ever pled guilty to a felony in any other jurisdiction?
No.
Has your lawyer explained the First Offender Act to you?
Yes.
You understand that if you violate the terms of your first offender sentence or commit a new offense while on first offender probation, your first offender status can be revoked. This means that you can be adjudicated guilty and you can be resentenced up to the maximum sentence for this charge.
Yes.
You understand that by entering a guilty plea today, you're waiving any and all defenses, including any mental health defenses.
Yes.
You understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up the following rights: the right to a trial by jury, the right to remain silent, the right to confront witnesses against you, the right to the assistance of counsel, the right to the presumption of innocence, and the right to appeal if convicted of these charges at trial.
Yes.
Is it your decision to waive these rights, which means not to use them, and enter a guilty plea today?
Yes.
Has anyone forced, threatened, or promised you anything to get you to enter a guilty plea?
No.
Is it your decision to enter a guilty plea because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Ms. Frederick, how do you plead to the charge of aggravated assault in indictment number 24 SC 003925?
Guilty.
Is this guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with the full knowledge of the charge against you?
Yes.
You understand that you only have a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction?
Yes.
You understand that if you wish to challenge the voluntariness of your guilty plea, you must do so by filing a habeas corpus petition?
Yes.
And you understand that for a felony charge, you only have 4 years from today to file that petition?
Yes.
Judge, if this case was to proceed at trial, the state would prove that on June 21st of 2022, officers were dispatched to 5405 West Hill Road in reference to an assault call. Upon their arrival, they observed Ms. Frederick crouching in the woods. They made entrance into the residence where they were met with a female witness by the name of Ms. Bailey, who stated that the victim was lying in the kitchen, whom they found bleeding from a wound slightly underneath his left chest. There was another witness there that was applying pressure to Mr. Muniz's wound. Mr. Muniz stated that he was stabbed by a Black female, but was not able to give any further details at that time. The officers did speak with Ms. Bailey, one of the witnesses, who was a friend of the victim, who stated that Ms. Frederick was inside cooking and Mr. Muniz came in there. They had a conversation over possible infidelity. And Ms. Bailey stated that Ms. Frederick then stabbed Mr. Muniz with a kitchen knife. And then she did flee the scene right There was an additional witness, Mr. McCurry, who was also in the residence, who stated he did not see the defendant stab the victim, but he did see her put the knife in her purse before fleeing the scene. And all of this did occur in Fulton County, Georgia.
All right. Thank you. Look one thing up. All right, Ms. Jackson, do you have any criminal history information on Ms. Frederick?
She has 4 cycles. The last arrest was August the 4th, 2018 out of Clayton County for battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Those charges were non-pros on December the 5th, 2018. She does have 1 misdemeanor conviction. It's in 2011 out of Henry County for possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Rios.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Frederick is 34 years old. She works at Pure Beauty Bar as a hairdresser. She's been doing that over 10 years. She has 1 child, a 1-year-old daughter. She did graduate from high school and she's from the Atlanta area. There's a little background about what happened. She was at a family cookout with her boyfriend. He came aggressively to her, accusing her of cheating. She said he has a gun, always carries a gun, and started to pull out the gun because he was very angry. And she was cooking, had the knife in her hand, and reacted because she was scared at the moment. So this could have been more of a self-defense situation, but she understands that anything could happen at trial, so she went to take a plea today. I'm asking for, well, the negotiated plea is 10 years, but I am asking for the behavioral incident date, so it would be a little less, maybe 3 years after, if she's doing everything good, to be removed from probation, and for her to take it under first offender.
Okay. I forgot to ask Ms. Dilligard, has your office had any success contacting Mr. Munoz?
We had partial success, but nothing substantive. We've been able to get a good phone number and reach out multiple times, but we haven't been able to connect.
Okay, got it. Ms. Frederick, anything you want to add?
I just want to say, I understand why he doesn't want to present himself to speak on his behalf of what happened. And I just, in my position, it was just a self-defense situation. If not for the loud crowd of his family members there, I wouldn't have probably left the scene at all, but it was more going on.
Your concern was he was going to shoot you?
Yes, him and also the people who spoke in the report and others that was there.
Okay, those folks, the witness names that I heard were his friends or family members?
Yes, one of them was a female who was also aggressive with me.
Okay, did you have friends or family members there?
No, it was just me there.
That address, the West Hill Road, is that, whose place is that?
The guy that got hurt.
Mr. Munoz's?
Yes.
Okay, that was his house?
Yes.
Okay, and you were over there?
We were having a barbecue, but it was mostly his friends and family there.
Okay. And you referred to him, that guy, his house. You were described as having been in a relationship with him at some point. Were the two of you in a relationship?
Yes.
Okay. At the time, this was a few years ago.
At the time we were.
You were still.
It ended, I guess, that night.
Okay. Did you get arrested at the scene?
Yes. And the only reason why I didn't speak or have anything to say, because he was already hurt. I felt like he was already dealing with consequences, and so was I.
Any sense of how severe his injuries were?
I believe I'm not sure, but.
You haven't had any contact with him since then?
We have shortly after. I know he went to the hospital. I'm not sure what all happened at the hospital. I know he was back to work immediately after.
Okay, so the contact you had with him immediately after, it wasn't, I was in the ICU for 6 months.
No.
What kind
I think I was 2 days. By the time I was released on bail, he was also back home.
Okay, and doing whatever his job is?
Yes.
Which is what, or was it?
Driving trucks.
Okay, all right. And you have a 1-year-old boy or girl?
A girl.
What's her name?
Kalia.
Okay. Do you live anywhere? I don't know where West Hill Road is in Atlanta.
No, I'm not around.
Okay. Any questions about anything?
No.
Sorry, did you say West? It's West Teal? Did you say Teal?
What I was trying to say was West Hill Road. Is that not what it is?
It's West Teal.
How do you spell it?
Teal.
Like the color?
Yes.
West Teal Road. Okay. That road. Do you live anywhere near that road?
At the time, I currently was there.
No, right. But now you
No.
don't live anywhere. Just in case Mr. Munoz still lives at West Teal Road.
No, I'm not around this area.
Okay. All right. Good.
No.
Then, Ms. Frederick, I find there's a factual basis for your plea. That your plea is knowing and voluntary. I'm sentencing you pursuant to the Probation Options Management Act. All that means is that while you're on probation, if there is a little bump in the road, you and probation will figure out how to address that. But if it is something more significant, you get arrested for anything, or there's any evidence that the state gathers that you were having contact with Mr. Munoz, that comes back to me, and we'll work through what to do about that. You are asking for first offender. You qualify for it. I need to make sure you understand the risk of first offender. The benefit is, if I sentence you as a first offender, when you leave here today, you don't have a conviction. So if your employer says, hey, it's time to re-up, you got to fill out these forms, and there's something on there that says, are you a convicted felon? The answer is you are not. And as long as you do well on probation, you remain not a convicted felon. The risk of first offender is that anytime during your sentence, if there is a big mess up, you get into a disagreement with whoever the new significant person is in your life and get arrested for something, that could be a reason for me to revoke your first offender status. So you'd have your new charges, but I could, after a hearing, you'd have a lawyer there say, you misled us. This was a self-defense. It's not you. It's not the real you. Here you are stabbing someone else. And I could, because aggravated assault is 1 to 20, I could say, you know what, I'm going to resentence you as a convicted felon and sentence you to 5 years on this old Munoz thing because of the new thing. Okay. So I think to make sure you understand the risk of first offender along with the benefit. Do you feel like you do?
Yes.
Understanding the good and the risky, do you want to be sentenced as a first offender?
Yes.
Do you have a firearms license?
No.
Ms. Rios, can someone in my office sign the indictment on your behalf?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Dilligard?
Yes, Judge.
And Ms. Frederick, is it okay if someone signs for you indicating your guilty plea?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll do that. I'm going to sentence you to 10 years probation. Special condition number 1 is stay away from West Teal Road. You remember where that is?
Yeah.
Is that a part of town you ever need to be in?
No.
Okay. Number 2, more important, no contact with Mr. Munoz. It's kind of easy to contact people these days. If you show up on his Instagram feed and he wants to make that trouble for you, that's going to be trouble for you. So just don't be following him electronically or through social media. You'll need to complete an anger management course and 150 hours of community service. That's a lot of hours, so I encourage you to be creative in how you do them. If you have ways you could give back to the community, that's not just picking up trash somewhere. Talk with your probation officer, and there are lots of ways you can do it that would be helpful. I will also set a behavioral incentive date of January 10th of 2028. That's 3 years from now. If you've done your community service, knocked out your anger management course, and have had no significant issues on probation, then they can petition me to close everything out early, because you will be 37 and doing all the right things, and why would we be bothering you? Okay. Any questions about that?
With the probation, I would have to pay this fee for the whole entire time I'm on probation?
So as long as you are being supervised, you pay a supervision fee.
Okay.
If it shifts to unsupervised, Ms. Simpson, then is there no more monthly payment, or it's a lower monthly payment?
She would be, if she hasn't paid off all of her fees, then she would be just paying off the fees that she didn't pay when she was on active probation. But when she goes on unsupervised probation, there are any fees.
Got it. So as long as you're being supervised, you're paying that monthly fee. Supervision drops off if things have been going well. Why would we supervise you if you're doing everything you need to do? I don't know where that falls in the 3-year window, but let's pretend that you don't meet your behavioral incentive date because there's a hiccup along the way. At some point, it would become unsupervised. You don't pay any supervision fees when you're not being supervised.
Okay, and that's the only fee I have?
I can't speak to that. I think there are other fees that flow with a felony conviction. But the one that would be recurring over time is the supervision fee.
Okay,
All right. Any other questions?
no.
Okay. Then we're done. You are going to need to report to probation, and I'm directing you to do that. We're going to wrap up now, but you're going to talk with Ms. Simpson, who's in green, and she's going to give you reporting instructions. Do you live in Fulton County?
No, I'm in Clayton County.
Okay, she's gonna tell you where in Clayton County you need to go on a certain date and time. You're gonna leave with a piece of paper. Don't miss that first date, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you, everyone. Ms. Jackson, we still have a few pleas, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, we're gonna resume Ms. Jackson at 1:30, so I will see you then. Mr. Jasper, anyone who's on the Zoom, you are free to drop off and be at ease.
All right, guys, this whole system, it's some business, y'all. It's money-driven business. Lord, it's about the money, y'all. Somebody needs to change these large amount of probation. Yeah, it's about money. It's about money. And they always coming after the people that don't have it. Yep, it's about money. All right, you guys are ready for the book reading? Are you guys ready for the book reading? We're going to be going to members only book reading on Mr. Woody book. For members only book reading, we get ready to start that at 1 o'clock. I got to get my reader. 1 o'clock. We're going to do our book reading for members only. All right. So I will see my members only in a few for the book. It's called Guns Down, Books Up. Guns Down, Book Up. And it's for members only. I'll see you guys in a few. Later.
Thank you for watching the infamous Sylvia channel, where laughter and fun make up our panel. Together we build this digital spree. We appreciate you and our growing family. With mods by our side and chat flowing free in this online space. It's just you and me, we laugh until tears roll down like the rain. In this virtual world, you ease all my pains. We're a family, not just a show. Every click and comment makes us grow. Mods and chat, keeping the vibe so right. Together we shine like stars in the night. We cherish the moments, the highs and lows, from the latest gossip to stories untold. You're more than a viewer, you're part of the crew in this space of ours. It's all because of you. This digital world where emotion is shared, Every post and reaction showing we care. The love is real in this virtual domain. With every sign and joys what we'll gain. We're a family, not just a show. Every click and comment makes us grow. Mars in check, keeping the vibe so right. Together we shine like stars in the night. We're a family, not just a show. Every click and comment makes us grow. Mars in check, keeping the vibe so right. Together we shine like stars in the night. This digital world where emotion is shared. Every post and reaction showing we care. The love is real in this virtual domain. With every sign and joy's what we'll gain. We're a family, not just a show. Every click and comment makes us grow. Mars in check, keeping the vibe so right.